Have you ever just looked up at the sky or out at the world and asked yourself, where am I in all of this? I mean, what's my place in the grand scheme of things? It's a question we've all asked. For centuries, humanity has been searching for a map, right? Some kind of reliable guide to what reality is all about. Well, today, we're going to look at two maps of the cosmos that could not be more different.
So here's the game plan. We're going to start our journey by looking at a spiritual ladder to the divine, an idea that's 1,000 years old. Then, we're going to jump straight to the cutting edge, the scientific frontier of today. We'll put these two maps of reality right next to each other, see how their ideas pop up throughout history and philosophy, and then we'll wrestle with a really big question. What does it even mean for a map to be true?
All right, let's meet our first map maker. We're going back to the 11th century to meet Nasir Khusraw. This guy was an incredible Persian philosopher, a poet, a world traveler, you name it. And his map wasn't about charting planets or stars. No, he was trying to map something much more profound: the soul's journey toward ultimate truth. He was charting the spiritual cosmos itself.
So in Khusraw's universe, everything starts at the top. All truth, all knowledge, all light, it flows from one single divine source. This source is called the Nātiq, which means the speaker prophet. Think of the Nātiq as the spiritual sun, the ultimate origin point from which every single ray of wisdom shines.
But here's the catch. This divine light doesn't just shine on everyone equally. It's passed down through a very strict 7-step spiritual ladder. It starts with the Nātiq, the prophet at the very top, and then trickles down through the other ranks, the foundation, the imam, the proof, all the way down to the very last step, the mustajib, or the responder. And here's what's absolutely crucial. Each rank is the only teacher for the person on the rung just below them. There are no shortcuts. To really make this clear, Khusraw uses this fantastic analogy with coins. Imagine that ultimate truth costs 7 dirhams. That's the price. While the prophet at the very top, he's got all 7. The person below him has 6. The one below that has 5. And on it goes, all the way down to the mustajib at the bottom, who only has 1 single dirham. Your rank literally determines how much of the truth you can possess. And that leads us to another really powerful idea he had: the relationship between a teacher and a student. The teacher, he said, is the cause, like the sun. And the student? They're the effect, like the daylight that the sun creates. Now think about that. Daylight can't exist without the sun, right? But they are not equals. The sun is this perfect, complete source of light, while the daylight is totally dependent on it, incomplete without it. In this system, your job as a student is just to faithfully receive that light.
So what's the bottom line here? In Khusraw's map of the universe, truth isn't something you go out and discover on your own. It's not something you figure out through trial and error. It's a gift. It's something you receive by being totally obedient to the person above you on that ladder. Trying to find your own path? That's not just wrong. It's like choosing to live in darkness when the sun is right there.
Okay, now I want you to buckle up because we're about to take a massive leap forward. We're jumping about 1,000 years into the future to a completely different kind of mapmaker. We're shifting our gaze from the inner world of the soul to the vast outer cosmos of space. We're going from a hierarchy of prophets to the mission of NASA. And NASA's mission is just a totally different ballgame. It's not about receiving divine wisdom from on high. It's all about actively discovering the physical secrets of the universe, about searching for signs of life out there, and then using that hard-won knowledge to protect and improve our own lives right here on Earth. So how does NASA build its map? Well, forget a spiritual ladder. They have a toolkit of incredible physical instruments. You've got amazing telescopes like the James Webb peering billions of years into the past. You've got probes flying to distant moons and rovers like Perseverance literally touching, drilling, and analyzing the surface of other worlds. It's about getting your hands dirty, you know? It's a completely empirical, boots on the ground or wheels on the ground approach to mapping reality.
And this approach to truth just couldn't be more different from Khusraw's. NASA's map is built from the bottom up. Knowledge isn't some perfect message beamed down from above. No, it's this giant, complicated puzzle. And we find the pieces one by one, through observation, through data, through experiments that anyone can repeat. You build the map knowing that tomorrow you might find a new piece that changes the whole picture.
All right, so now we've got these two incredible, all-encompassing ways of understanding the universe. Let's put them on the table, side by side, and really dig into how fundamentally different they are at their very core. I mean, just look at this. Ask them, where does truth come from? Khusraw says divine revelation. NASA says empirical observation. Ask, how do we find it? One says spiritual obedience, the other says the scientific method. And what's the ultimate goal of all this seeking? For Khusraw, it's eternal salvation. For NASA, it's physical discovery. They even disagree on the very nature of reality itself. One sees it as primarily spiritual, the other primarily material. It's like they're running on two completely different operating systems.
Now, you might be thinking, where did these two totally opposite ideas come from? Well, they didn't just pop up out of thin air. They actually represent two major currents in human thought that you can see throughout history in both Eastern and Western philosophy.
On one side, you have what's often called idealism. The ancient Greek philosopher Plato was a huge proponent of this. It's the idea that true reality isn't the physical world we see, but a higher world of ideas or pure reason. Khusraw's top-down system, where truth comes from a divine source, is a perfect example of this way of thinking. And on the other side, you've got empiricism. Think of Aristotle. This is the idea that all knowledge starts with what we can experience with our senses, what we can see, touch, and measure. And that, right there, is the entire foundation of NASA's scientific mission. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. Your support really means a lot and helps me keep creating content for you all. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
So all of this leaves us with a huge question, maybe the most important one of all. We've got a map of the soul and a map of space. They seem totally at odds with each other. So what actually makes a map true?
At the end of the day, what's a map even for? It's there to orient us, right? To tell us where we are, where we should go, and what's important along the way. And what's so fascinating is that both of these systems, Khusraw's spiritual ladder and NASA's scientific exploration, they both do that. For all their differences, they each provide a powerful, complete story about our place in the universe.
And that's the thought I want to leave you with. The value of a map is in how well it helps you navigate your world. One map guides the soul to salvation, the other guides rockets to other planets. So here's the question. If a map gives your life meaning, if it helps you find your way, does it matter if it's the only literally true picture of the world? It's something that makes you think about what we're really looking for when we search for knowledge in the first place.